Hello and welcome to News 500. I'm Stephen Allen.
I'm John Fothergill.
And these are the headlines.
Woman stung by scorpion on a plane. Samuel L. Jackson has already bought the movie rights. A spokesperson for the German rock band refused to comment.
14 hens found dead in a bin in Scotland. 10 stag parties were found in a nearby gutter.
Good news. 5 Britons have made the final list of those that could be sent to Mars. Bad news, it doesn't include Prince Andrew.
A man was attacked by 3 women at a showing of 50 Shades of Grey in Glasgow, which is exactly what he wanted.
Box office takings for 50 Shades of Grey were the highest for an opening weekend in February since the film The Passion of the Christ. Both films contained bondage, flogging and second comings.
Australian animal rights campaigners claim it would be cruel to fly 2 capuchin monkeys from California to take part in the Pirates of the Caribbean film due to the decreased popularity of the franchise. Replacements will need to be small, hairy, with bad personal hygiene.
The Daily Mail are outraged at the decision of several North London schools to stop serving sausages for school lunch in case pupils are Muslim or Jewish. The Mail wants to go back to more traditional British school days of turkey twizzlers, the cane and paedophilia.
The city of Boston might have thought the worst thing the British ever inflicted on them was the Tea Act that prompted the Boston Tea Party riots in 1773. But this week, Boris Johnson visited. To tell us more of Boris's trip to America, here's our royal Boris correspondent, Eric McElroy.
Boris!
Hello, Steve! During a visit to his country of birth, the good old US of A, Boris Johnson announced that he would be renouncing his American citizenship. Some believe Boris is doing this now to clear the way for a possible run at being Prime Minister. But that's not why he's doing it. One of the main reasons he may be de-freedomizing himself is that America is one of the few countries that taxes its citizens no matter where they reside. He's giving up his passport as a tax avoidance scheme, not to prove he's more British, but to prove he can avoid tax like a proper Tory. Ironically, protesting a tax you disagree with is actually quite American. Although, because Boris is American by birth, he doesn't mean to do anything ironically. And full disclosure, I did vote for Boris. I just thought he'd be a bit of a laugh. Have you ever seen the guy? I thought, what harm can he do? But of course, I realized my mistake straight away. Remember the first thing he did? It was to ban drinking on the tube. That's the only reason I moved to this country, was to drink in public for no apparent reason. Plus, it didn't stop people from drinking. If anything, it just pushed it underground. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Eric.
The Church of England has called for a fresh moral vision in politics. In light of that suggestion, several politicians have converted to Buddhism.
The Church has also warned that people should not scapegoat those who survive on benefits from the public purse. That's not really surprising, considering the head of the Church is the Queen.
David Cameron's plans to make young people do community work in return for benefits were rejected by the Liberal Democrats. It's not a real job, it's pointless and just wastes people's time. But some people like being a Liberal Democrat.
The programme could launch as soon as next year and will be known as the Student Labour Act for Verified Employment, or SLAVE for short.
Some people have criticised the scheme as modern-day slavery, which really undermines just how bad slavery was. No one is ever going to make a film called 12 Years on Benefits, although Channel 4 will make shitloads of shows about it.
Donut moguls Krispy Kreme were forced to withdraw a Facebook advert for the Krispy Kreme Club after several people complained. The scheme, also known as KKK Wednesdays, was thought to be attracting the wrong kind of attention.
As a safety precaution, Krispy Kreme has also stopped serving all donuts containing coloured sprinkles. Satellites aren't just for predicting the weather and giving us sweet mobile phone reception at Glastonbury, they can also be used to track snails. For more, we go to our hoity-toity, look at me, aren't I clever sciencey correspondent, Rialina.
Thanks, John. But if I could just correct you there, the satellites don't track individual snails. That would be ridiculous. What they do is record the intensity of the reflection from the snail trail in order to determine the direction of the snail and how long ago it was in the area.
Really?
No. The satellites are able to identify environmental conditions in which certain water snails are more inclined to thrive.
Ria, could I just interrupt to ask, is this anything to do with containing the spread of the parasitic disease schistosomiasis?
Yes, that's exactly it, Steve. As you know, the life cycle of the Schistosoma mansoni trematode, for example, includes a miracidium stage in which freshwater snails from the genus Biomphalaria,
Such as Biomphalaria globata or Straminia?
precisely, or Tenegophila or Pseudonica, are penetrated to act as hosts for the sporocyst phase, which eventually results in a few thousand cercariae being released, each one capable of infecting a human via penetration of the skin into the epidermis using cytolytic secretions from the cercarial post-acetabular then pre-acetabular glands.
At which point it forms a schistosomule. So, Ria, is this the case for all species of schistosoma that infect humans, such as Japonicum?
Or hematobium? Good question, Steve. This study focuses specifically on sites in Africa, which of course is where you find Schistosoma, hematobium, and Mansoni. But as you know, schistosomiasis can also be found in Asia and South America, so I'm sure this technology could be just as useful to combat the spread of the parasite there too.
What?
Well, here's a fun Valentine's fact for you, John. Did you know that Schistosoma mansoni is a monogamous trematode? How romantic is that?
Fuck off.
Thanks, Ria.
Hundreds of human remains have been found under Liverpool Street while building the new Crossrail line. It appears the gentrification of East London was going much better than initially planned.
To clamp down on tax evasion, Ed Balls has suggested that receipts should be sought from all those who do menial jobs. He's requested one from Ed Miliband.
There have been more shocking revelations regarding the depth of HSBC's tax avoidance schemes. There were further shocks when customers went to their local HSBC branch and got good customer service.
George Osborne has asked for assurances from Greece over a bailout plan. German Finance Minister Herr Schäuble
Boris.
has asked for clarity of their intentions, and Ed Balls has asked them for a receipt.
Balls. And finally, Channel 4 sparked controversy by showing UKIP The First 100 Days, a docudrama that showed what life would be like if UKIP won the general election. It involved a lot of people being hit by flying pigs.
As in UKIP could win the general election, right, and pigs might fly.
No, I think it's probably one of their policies to launch them at Muslims.
All right. And that's it for this week's News 500. To get your regular fix, subscribe now. The week's news in 500 seconds.
Boris.